when you were a young journalist, what
Mhm.
do you think that young journalists miss out on when they're trying to connect with players and coaches and form those relationships?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
What do they miss out on trying to form a relationship with players and coaches?
Or like
Okay. No, that's a good question.
when you were
That's a good question.
young, yeah. What did you
You
think you didn't
don't
do right?
there's these group interviews, okay? And that's how
Sure.
usually you get like a player or a coach makes himself available and you go to the locker and you all crowd around and you stick your little microphone in there and you ask a couple questions, but you can't build a relationship with a guy like that in a group interview. You're just kind of one of
Mhm.
the faces, one of the arms getting sticking something in. The way you do it is in between those times. So like maybe after the group interview, people disperse, you stay there. And then you go up
Right.
to them and say, you know, something. If you got something to say, that's when you meet a player. Maybe you talk about something that's not sports. Maybe you
Mhm.
talk about a TV show, something that you know they're interested in. Maybe you can build a relationship there privately, and then you ask for a number. You say, "Look, I'm never going to call you, but in case something happens, you want to get your side of the story out. Could I have your number?" The funny thing with asking people stuff like that, it's way easier to say yes than to say no. It's
Yeah.
always way so ask. A lot of times they'll be like, yeah, that's cool. And you'll be like, remember, I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna text you. You're not gonna hear from me. But it'd be nice. I want to be a pro. Can I have your number? Yeah. And then with coaches, on the practice field, sometimes you can talk to them. Now, sometimes they don't want to, but if they're making themselves available, take the time because that's how you get numbers. That's how you build relationships. And if you don't do that, then you're probably going to be the least connected person on the beat. So if you do get into the locker room, there are ways to do it. Linger
Right.
after the group press conference. That's what I would say. Linger.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I've been thinking a lot about too recently is, how you can just go and DM players, right?
That is
Like
new.
there's all
Yes.
that is so new, and especially like just the Instagram, the Twitter of the world. So you have all these different ways to contact these guys. So like even for me, like right with the Florida State guys who I'm covering, the basketball team, I can
Mhm.
reach out to those guys on DM because they're my age. So that's stuff that, I've been working on
That's
and doing a
great.
lot more
Yeah.
with. So, I think like what you're saying is super important, but like this upcoming year, this is going to be, I think, my first year in the locker room, hopefully fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I'll be excited for that, but
That'd be
that's all I
great.
wanted to talk about, Grant. I don't have anything else, man. Have a great Sunday. Thanks for having me on, man.
Also, I think another way to do it, I'm trying to think like how my dad would do it.
Yeah.
If you do get a one-on-one interview,
Mhm.
just if you have interesting questions, a lot of times players haven't been asked interesting questions before. They'll remember you. Word will
Right.
get around the locker room. Hey,
Right.
Ben asks interesting questions. Ben's a little
Yeah.
different. Ben will keep you on your toes. That's how my dad was. That's what I aspire to be. You can stand out with your questions, and you're very good at that. They'll remember
Yeah.
you. If they like the interview, you'll see it. Say people like talking about themselves. That's the thing. People like
They
talking
do.
about themselves. Don't forget that, Ben.
No, no, real quick. I mean, I got to do one interview, and I remember afterwards with the coach who I did it with. I mean, he called me and we talked and like the whole thing. So it's just so, I mean, it's so cool to be doing this stuff.
That's
It's like when you wake up in the morning, you're like, is this really what I'm doing this morning? This is what I'm
the
like
best.
the
Yeah,
best.
I could be going into an office right now getting told to make more cold
Yeah.
calls to people who don't want me to call them. Like,
Oh,
nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Nope, nope, nope. Ben, great to see you,
yeah.
man. Have a great
Great to
day.
see you, Grant. Yeah, I'll talk to you
Take care.
soon.